What's up, guys? CT here, and just a couple hours before the first preseason game for the Panthers, I want to go ahead and get out my 2014 Panthers preview as a Carolina Panther fan. Right before the official preseason starts, I want to go ahead and get that out of here. Uh, just a quick recap of last season. Starting out 0-2 with Ron Rivera's job just dingling on the edge pretty much. I mean, it was a matter of weeks so he could have gotten fired. I mean, maybe Jerry Richardson would have waited to the end of the season, but I mean, he could have gotten fired after one or two more losses. Who really knows? But it went to the other direction, thank God, and they ended up 12-4 and losing in the divisional round to the 49ers. So, a really solid season. I thought going into last year that we would end up at about 10 wins, just right on the brink of getting to the playoffs or not. But I didn't expect us to start off that poorly, really, and I didn't expect us to lose to the Bills. I thought we had a good chance of winning against the Seahawks. But I really didn't expect us to win, the next 10 games or whatever it was. But yeah, I don't want to get too much into the 49ers game in the playoff game, but really, I thought the officiating was crap in the first half, and then the way we played in the second half was crap. So that's the way I pretty much summed up the our playoff game against the Niners. But getting into this year, I think my eye is going to be on Ron Rivera. What's he going to be like off when he gets off the hot seat? Is he still going to be Riverboat Ron, or is he going to be a little bit more conservative now? It'll be interesting to see. I expect him to still be Riverboat Ron, but you never know when someone is coaching for their job. It may be a little bit different than when they feel a little bit more comfortable. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see. A lot of people are looking at Cam Newton. I'm not really worried about Cam. I think he'll be fine coming off his ankle surgery. But people seem to always be talking about they're looking for Cam to take the next step. I think Cam is fine. I think it's more of the pieces around him that we need to work on. And kind of took a step back in that direction this offseason. I'll get to more of that in a second. What I'm going to do now is go through every position and really just give my thoughts on where we stand on the depth chart right now going into this year. At quarterback, Cam Newton. I mean, a little bit of concern, I guess, coming off the ankle surgery, but I think you got to feel pretty good about the year that he had last year, kind of a bounce back year. Although I don't think 2012 was really that bad of a year, and I really don't think last year was that phenomenal of a year. But he's definitely one of the top 10, 8, 7, maybe even 6 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Uh, Derek Anderson, I expect to still be the backup, even though we brought in Joe Webb. But we'll see how that goes in the preseason. By the way, I'm making this video. I don't know when you're probably watching this after our first preseason game, or even after our second or third, or whenever you're watching it. But as of right now, this is a couple hours before the Bills preseason game, and Cam Newton is not expected to play tonight. So I think that's a good decision. I mean, I wouldn't even be hesitant to. I wouldn't mind him not playing the entire preseason, or definitely not playing the first two. Maybe play him the third and don't play him the fourth, and I think he'll be fine. But I think you could not play him any, and he'd be fine. But at least play him one just to be safe. You know. At the running back position, we still got D'Angelo Williams, who, you know, D'Angelo Williams, really our entire backfield, him and Jonathan Stewart, it's kind of interesting because I think around 2007, 2008, I would say we may have had the best backfield in the entire NFL. And a lot of friends of mine, uh, I've been asked this question all the time the past couple years. They ask me what happened to D'Angelo Williams and what happened to Jonathan Stewart. Well, I think it's really a combination of things. With Jonathan Stewart's injuries, this definitely have been the biggest thing. The offensive line isn't what it was back in the late 2000s, really 2008 or 2007, I think, is when they were just running over teams with our running game. Uh, but yeah, I mean, you know what it is. Like running backs don't have that long of a life expectancy in the NFL, and these guys are getting up. They don't have. D'Angelo doesn't seem to have that burst that he used to. He still is a productive back, and he's good enough to, be the starting running back in the NFL. Uh, but he's not what he was. I mean, he's probably the best running back in the NFL. I can't remember what year it was. I want to say it was 2007, but I'm not sure about that. And they were just a incredible uh, duo, you know. But I think Mike Tolbert has definitely passed up. I don't even see why Jonathan Stewart is still on this roster. I mean, the guy clearly can't stay healthy. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, it's not like it's just been a once or one or two time thing. I mean, it's like every single year this guy just plays just a few games and he doesn't play very well. And what does he give you that Mike Tolbert can't give you? You know what I'm saying? I don't really see the point in Jonathan Stewart being on this team beyond just depth. And I don't see why Kenyon Barner is still on this team. I know we just drafted him last year. The dude is too small to play running back in the NFL. If you watched any of the games that he played in last year, it's clearly obvious. Kenyon Bonner cannot play running back in the NFL. Period. If you want to put him, maybe try him at like a slot receiver or a special teams type thing, but the guy is just too small, and I just don't see it working. I just don't. At the wide receiver position, we lose Steve Smith and we lose Brandon LaFell, we lose Ted Ginn. Um, I'm obviously not going to be thrilled that we got rid of Steve Smith because he was my favorite player on the Panthers and one of my favorite players in the NFL of all time. I mean, what Panther fan doesn't love Steve Smith? I don't think there's any. So I don't think anyone was happy about that decision. I think what we should have done is drafted a number one receiver years ago, 2 or 3 years back. We should have drafted a number one receiver. There was no reason for that, and he could have just slid in to be one of the best number two receivers in the NFL. I mean, I don't understand why we didn't do that, and I think we still could have kept him. I know he was a little bit more than what he's worth, what we were gonna have to pay him. But I mean, he's better than Jericho Cotchery, Jason Avant, and Taekwon Underwood. Although I don't think uh, forget what I was gonna say, but I also think we should have kept Ted Ginn Jr. because this guy really helped us last year, especially in the return game. I don't know what the thought process. Who's going to return our return kicks for us this year? Kenyon Barner? Does anybody feel comfortable with that? Definitely something I'm gonna be watching tonight and this entire preseason. That's a big concern. That's huge. Think about how much he helped us last year. Ted Ginn Jr. gave us big returns and helped us with field position and turned it into points. Really, I remember in the San Francisco game and I think in the Miami game, really helped us with the kick returns. We draft Kelvin Benjamin. I like the pick, but I like the pick a lot more if Steve Smith is still on this roster. But I like the pick. It was a pick I feel like we had to make. Think about if we didn't draft Kelvin Benjamin. What the hell would we do right now at wide receiver? We're already might be in serious trouble. I mean, this is this is a big question mark that's gonna have to get answered. I mean, I like Kelvin Benjamin and Jericho Cotchery, but we'll have to see now. But Kelvin Benjamin, 6'5", 240. What's there really not to like besides this guy? as far physically with this guy, but he does lack some speed. He did have a lot of drops, but from what I've seen in training camp, he looks good. Didn't see any drops, and he's gonna be dangerous in the red zone. This has a lot of potential. Cam Newton to Kelvin Benjamin connection has a lot of potential to be one of the best in the NFL. I have a lot of confidence in that. Jericho Cotchery, I think, is a solid number two. Nothing spectacular. I mean, he was the number three receiver on Pittsburgh last year, but he had quite a few touchdowns. What was it? I can't remember the exact number, but he scored a lot of touchdowns. And he was on my fantasy team for a while. He did okay some games, and other games he did nothing. But he did have some really good games last year. I think the Vikings game was one of them. But he'll be all right. But we're still gonna have to. I thought we should have drafted what's his name, Jarvis Landry out of LSU in the second round instead of Coney Ely. But I mean that's debatable, I guess, with what may be happening in the future at our defensive end position. But I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I think Jarvis Landry has potential to be a really good receiver in this league, and I thought that would have addressed our wide receiver position for a good decade to come. But now we're still probably gonna have to address. We're definitely gonna have to address it within the next year or two because all these guys are old. Kasturi, Avant, Jason Avant, not a big fan at all. Really old. I don't feel even comfortable with him being a number three receiver. I like Underwood better, honestly, but we'll see who wins that position. That's still up for grabs, I think. I guess I'll definitely have my eye on the wide receiver position in general tonight and throughout the preseason. Huge, huge, huge thing there. The tight end spot, I feel really good about it. Greg Olson's a beast. Probably the most underrated tight end in the NFL. People know him, but I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's a top five tight end. I definitely think that. And really reliable guy. We all know about Greg Olson. Uh, Ed Dixon, we bring in from Baltimore. I like. I want us to do the dual tight end thing like we did in Cam's rookie year when we were just killing people on offense. We had Olsen and Jeremy Shockey. That's what we need to do because it apparently worked, and we were like the most explosive offense in the NFL. So try to go back to that and see if it works. It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot because if we can get that our offense back to even close to what it was Cam's rookie year, damn, we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's any doubt about it. With the defense we have, if we have that good of offense, I don't know who the hell is going to be able to beat us. Defensive position, we got the Kraken. I mean, this position is absolutely stacked right now. I mean, it's probably maybe the best defensive ends in the NFL, I would say. Um, with Greg Hardy, Charles Johnson, we draft Coney Ely, who we'll have to see about him. Frank Alexander, Mario Addison, stacks, crazy depth. Defensive line is absolutely stout. Uh, but with when we drafted Coney Ely, I was like, why in the hell make that pick? But it actually makes a lot more sense now because I think we're gonna have to get rid of either Greg Hardy or Charles Johnson at the end of this year because these guys are making a lot of money and we're gonna have to pay Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly uh, very soon. Cam Newton will be at the end of this year. Luke Kuechly will be in the next year, I believe. So, I mean, our money's tied up with those two guys just being as good as they are. But I think Charles Johnson will be the one to go, but I'm not sure about that. We need two really good defensive ends because if one of those guys are gone, then it really hurts the other one. So definitely, we need Coney Ely to step up and be able to take over that spot. Defensive tackle position, Starlo Tulele had a really good rookie year. Expect him to take another step this year. Dwan Edwards, solid defensive tackle. K1 Short, really good last year. Expect him to take another step this year. Just pretty much the same as Starlo Tulele. I would even like to see Starlo Tulele and K1 Short being the two starting defensive tackles rather than them rotating out. I feel like they may be the two best options there. Colin Cole, he's all right, I guess. Really don't think a whole lot of him. Definitely think he's the worst out of those four. Linebacker position, I mean, what I really need to say about this. Luke Kuechly, motherfucking beast, defensive player of the year. And this guy can even get better. That's what's going to be scary. This guy is a future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it in my mind. Thomas Davis, when's this guy going to start getting some damn respect? Thomas Davis is a fucking beast, and he's had 3 ACL complete tears, reconstruction surgeries. I mean, why does no one ever talk about that? I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. Why? I don't understand that at all. And he's a beast. You wouldn't think anyone who's had 3 complete ACL reconstruction surgeries would ever like fucking be able to walk again. Nonetheless, play in the NFL and be a fucking monster. Absolutely ridiculous. Looks like Chase Blackburn and AJ Klein are in a battle for that third linebacker spot. I'm cool with it being just when we just play 2 linebackers. But it's really close. I think I may like Klein a little bit better, but in certain situations, but like Blackburn better in those situations. I think Chase Blackburn, bigger, stronger, not as fast, not as athletic, and AJ Klein, not as big, not as strong, but faster and more athletic. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the preseason. Going to the secondary now, cornerback position. Charles Godfrey makes the move from safety to corner. I'm anxious to see this. I thought it was an interesting move. I guess it shows how light we are in depth at corner, but I didn't think we were really stacked at safety. So it's an interesting thing. It'll be I want to see how that plays out and how he looks at corner. I'm definitely gonna be watching him. I'm basically gonna be watching the receivers and basically watching the perimeter, the receivers and the corners, and I guess the safeties and as well as the offensive line, which I'll get to in a sec. But yeah, Charles Godfrey, I want to see it. I haven't really seen much of it. Seen just little bits and pieces at training camp, but I mean that's training camp. Can't really go by that. But Melvin White played well, rookie free agent last year. Played well. Our secondary needs to get better though, from last year at least. I actually think our secondary might be better than it was last year. We pretty much lost everyone, but it might actually be better. I don't know. We'll have to see. Also have Antoine Cason, who I don't know a whole lot about, but from what I've seen, he looks pretty damn good. Maybe better than what we had last year. I don't know if he's better than Captain Munderland or not. I actually kind of liked Captain Munderland, although he got burned pretty badly quite a few times. Benet Benwickery is the guy we drafted out of San Jose State. From watching tape of him at San Jose State, he looked really good. A little bit smaller of a guy than I would like. I actually like bigger, lankier corners because of how fucking huge receivers are now in the NFL, and especially in our division, which I'll get to when I look at the schedule. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out at corner. I think we'll be all right though with how good our front seven is. It really helps those guys out. At safety, we bring in Roman Harper, who I don't really know I can't really recall how good he really is as a player, but this guy pissed me off when he did that late hit on Steve Smith. I was really pissed about that. And we were getting rid of Steve Smith and bring him in. I was that that really ticked me off, man. Uh, so I don't know though. I mean, he's an older guy as well as Thomas DeCoud. I'm going to talk about these guys because they're basically in the same situation. One came from the Saints, one came from the Falcons. Both are all right. Are they better than what we had last year at safety? Maybe. They're nothing spectacular. They're not the long-term answer, so we're just gonna have to address this. But I guess it's a quick fix for now. I mean, it's okay. It's not gonna, we had to do something, so I guess we did something. And we draft Trey Boston out of North Carolina. Another smaller guy. Looked really good in some games. Looked awful in others. I don't remember what game he looked really good in, but he had some picks. He was coming up making tackles. Another game, I think it was against Miami. I want to say, don't quote me on that, but he was getting absolutely burnt over the top, man. He was just getting destroyed. And I was like, oh my god, like, this can't happen for us. We have Robert Lester. I thought he really hurt us in the Niners game last year, although he played decently for us uh, in other games. In the Patriots game, I think he looked all right. But yeah, he really got exposed. It's like the Niners really went after him in that playoff game last year. But we'll see how it goes. I don't think he's going to be playing all that much. I think it's going to be Harper and Dakud. I mean, I want to see what Trey Boston does in the preseason, but we'll see how that goes. Offensive line, this is how I see it being. Left tackle, Byron Bell. Left guard, Amini Solotolu. Center, Ryan Khalil. Right guard, looks like it's going to be Trey Turner, a rookie. Right tackle, Nate Chandler. I don't think it's as bad as some people are trying to make it out to be, as big as a concern. But it'll be interesting to see. That's really need to watch this tonight and or the preseason because Cam's not going to be back there. He's not going to be able to escape pressure. It's going to be Derek Anderson, and he's not the most mobile quarterback in the world. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Really, my biggest concern on the line. I like Trey Turner. Love Ryan Khalil. Nate Chandler is all right. Misio Tolu is all right. Byron Bell is what I'm concerned about, protecting Cam's blind side. Really not feeling all that great about that. But I think these guys are better. Will be better in the run game than our line was last year. But I worry about them in the pass protection. But we'll see how it goes. It is what it is. Let's look at the schedule now for this year. I'm not going through preseason. Preseason's preseason. Although I will be posting recaps of every preseason game, which I'll probably be back tonight for the Bills recap. First game at Tampa Bay. This game scares the hell out of me, honestly, because on the road we're still, we're counting on a lot of new guys to fit in immediately, like Kelvin Benjamin and a receiver, and a lot of changes at the line. Just a lot of transition. So the first game kind of scares me, and especially with this new look Buccaneers. New look. They actually have new uniforms too, but new coach, new quarterback with McCown, and they got Vincent Jackson, and they bring in Mike Evans, and they have bring back Doug Martin off of injury, and they have a pretty good defense. So, pretty damn tough game. A lot of people, I think, maybe sleeping on the Bucks. They're going to be tough. I definitely see them being a tough team. Week 2, the Lions. Oh yeah, do I see us winning this game? I'll say we win this game just based off of our defense. I think we find a way to score. It's going to be really close. It's really a toss up, I think. This game really scares me, but I'll give it to us just because I think our defense will keep it in it, will keep us in it, and Cam finds a way to win it at the end. Week 2 against the Lions. Another interesting game. The schedule's really tough. Really, really tough. Oh my God. I've looked at it before, but it's absolutely brutal. Anyways, uh, Lions at home. We should win this one. It's really like the same in almost all these games, almost all of them. They're all games we should win, but they're all against really good teams. You know, if it was our last year's team, then I feel like we'd be good. But you know, we've made a lot of changes, and there's a lot of question marks. But you know, two really tough receiving. Our secondary is going to be tested really big time in the first 2 games against Vincent Jackson and Mike Evans, and then against Megatron. But I see us pulling out this game somehow uh, as well. I think there's going to be a lot of close games this year. Week 3 against the Steelers, another tough game. It'll be interesting to see what their defense looks like. I think it'll be they you know they had a lot of older guys that they still have, but they've drafted some really young good players like Jarvis Jones last year, and what's the guy's name out of Michigan State, the corner. Really liked him that they got in the first round this year. They got some younger guys too, so it'll be another really good game. But I think we'll win by, I'd say, maybe a touchdown. Then we go to Baltimore, play against Steve Smith. Um, I see us losing this game, honestly. Just I don't. How could you have a good feeling about it? You know, Steve Smith is gonna is gonna be pissed off, like he's already said he's gonna be. And on the road, Baltimore's a good ass team. I don't see us winning this game. I see Cam struggling against Baltimore's defense. And that's the thing. Against those first 3 defenses are solid, but I think Baltimore. If you notice Cam, he plays really well against mediocre to bad defenses. But when he plays against a really good defense, he seems to struggle. And I see that kind of being the case at Baltimore. I don't see us getting killed or anything, but I see us losing that game. Chicago at home. Damn, another secondary is going to be tested again, man. Again. Uh, I like us to win this game because I feel like our defensive line always just destroys the Bears' defensive line or offensive line and gets pressure. Bears' defense, I don't think, is what it used to be. I see us winning this game. Uh, Week 6 at Cincinnati. I don't know. It's another interesting game. Team that's kind of like us, really. Uh, I see us. I'll say we lose this one. You know, I feel like we're a better team than Cincinnati, probably. But you know, it's kind of that thing with Cam going against a really good defense, and Cincinnati does have a really good defense. I see us struggling, and I see us losing in a low-scoring game. Week 7 at Green Bay. Uh, Man, an interesting game. Remember that it was a really good game last time we played the Packers in Cam's rookie year when Cam's went off on them. Defense lost us the game, just like pretty much every other game that year. Uh, I'll say we. I'll say we find a way to win this one. I'll say we find a way to win. I'm gonna say that the Packers have some type of big injury in that game. That's a weird prediction, but I just kind of feel it. They may maybe it was like Randall Cobb or someone, and their defense isn't very good. So Cam will be able to put some points up on them. And I say we win that game in another close one. Week 8 against Seattle at home. You know, I mean, I guess I'll say we lose this one as well. Uh, all right, I feel like we should have beat Seattle the past two times we played them. Both, both two this past 2 years we're both in Bank of America. But I mean, great defense. Cam seems to struggle. I don't know. I don't see why we would why it be any different this time. Probably lose another low scoring game. You got to pick us to lose some games, you know. Every game on the schedule is winnable, and almost every one of them I think is losable. So, that's the NFL for you. Week 9 at home against the Saints. I'll say we win this game. Uh, I'll say we'll probably split with the Saints. You know, be something similar. But Saints are going to be tough. I think they're probably the team to beat in our division right now, even though we're the defending champs. I mean, they don't have as much turnover. They didn't lose much. They had the fourth ranked defense last year. I don't think a lot of people realize that how good the Saints defense was last year. Really good defense, and they have Drew Brees, Jimmy Graham, and those guys on offense. Makes a really tough team. But I'll say we win a close one at home against the Saints. At Philadelphia, um, I'll say we win this game. I'll say we win it because basically that's what it comes down to. They don't have a very good defense, and we do have a really good defense. So Cam can put up points on them. They'll probably still struggle to put up some points on us, and it's not in a dome. We seem to struggle against really good offenses in domes, like the Saints when we got destroyed there last year. But I think we'll be all right there. And I say we win a close game. I say we win by about 6 or something. Week 11, Falcons at home. I don't know what to think of the Falcons this year, really. They get Julio Jones back, probably have a healthy Roddy White. Uh, Defense probably won't be much better. Will be a little bit better, maybe. I'll say we win this game. I think the Falcons will be the worst team in the division this year. I don't see them going back to where they were a couple of years ago. Even though they will have should have a pretty good offense, but I think their defense is what's going to hurt them. Week 13, we have a bye. Week 12, pretty good time for a bye. A lot better than it was last year, which was week 4. That was horrible. Week 13 at Minnesota. Don't see any reason why we couldn't win this game. Have a rookie quarterback. I guess Teddy Bridgewater will be starting. Don't really know for sure, but killed them last year. I say we win pretty easily this time as well. Week 14 at New Orleans. Do not see us winning this game. I mean, we got absolutely carved up. As good as our defense was, our secondary got exposed in that game last year. I don't know what it is, but the Saints are just really good at home, and I see us being in trouble in that one. Week 15, got the Bucks at home. I see us winning this game. Uh, It'll be tough though. I think the Bucks could contend for a playoff spot this year. It'll be a really tough game, but I say we pull it out somehow, kind of like the one at Tampa in Week 1. Week 16, Cleveland Browns. Man, interesting game. I hope Johnny Manziel will be playing at this point. I think he will, and if he stays healthy, I think that's going to be a big problem for him. I actually think Johnny Manziel will end up starting for the Browns. If not from week 1, then like week 3 or 4. I think he'll be playing. If he's still healthy at this point, man, we'll give Johnny Manziel all hell in Charlotte with our defense. And I don't their defense doesn't scare me too much. Should win this game pretty easily. Week 17 at Atlanta. Finish the season at Atlanta just like we did last year. I see it being kind of similar to last year. A tough game, but we pull it out at the very end and clinch the division, hopefully, again. But I don't care about that, really. I just want to get into the playoffs. I think I'll be satisfied with that. That's all I want every year, really, especially coming off of all the players that we lost. You know, I think that's a fair expectation. Let's count out how many wins I gave us. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 4 again. I'll take that. I'll take that. Guess into the playoffs again. I don't think there's any question about that. But yeah, that'd be good. I don't know if I doubt that's what it'll be exactly, but I see us being in the anywhere from 10 to 12 wins. Really tough schedule, you know. So I would definitely be okay with that, and go from there. I don't think we're really in contention to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl this year. I think we're a year or two away from that. But I mean, you got Cam Newton on quarterback of the offense, and Luke Kuechly, middle linebacker, quarterback of the defense. That right there is a dangerous thing. And we're gonna have that for years to come, unless Gettleman somehow fucks it up. So I feel good about that. I feel good about where the franchise is right now. Interested to see this us take the field for the first time this year, even though it's just preseason here in about an hour. And I will put up a recap of that after the game. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.